Hi, greetings. It's the African Witch Bitch. Welcome. A lot of people, go ahead and get right to the point. I don't like to keep you guys long. A lot of people want to know, how do you make a sour jar? And this is just a simple, very, very simple method on how to do it. Now, first, let me explain to you exactly what a sour jar is. A sour jar is when you want to, it could be used for protection because someone is targeting you. It can be used for retribution because somebody has targeted you or has done something to you and you want to protect yourself and get back at them by sending some sort of negativity their way. Now, a lot of people have different feelings about using sour jars or any type of quote unquote dark work. They consider it dark work, whatever. I personally don't. I personally feel like that you have a right to defend yourself and you have a right to protect yourself. And if you want to use hoodoo to do it, that is what hoodoo is for. You can't have the light without the darkness. You can't have the darkness without the light. It can be used like, if you liken it to a firearm, you can use that firearm to protect you, or you can use it to go out and harm people. It all just depends on you, your integrity level, and how you feel. I personally I've only used a sour jar. I can even count how many times I've used it. It's a very, very, very last resort. It's not something that I do. I can ignore the fuck out of somebody real easily and pretend they don't exist. But when a person is really setting out to harm you or your family members and you really want to protect yourself against their negativity, this is a good way to do it. So let me just explain how it's done. Okay. You take a very empty jar, any kind of jar. That's the beauty of hoodoo. You do not need a lot of expensive equipment. You do not need a special jar, or you don't need to go out and buy some big elaborate thing. You can use an empty jar that you had something in. This one I had pickles in, and I save my jars for different reasons. There's different types of jars that you can do. You can use jars for sweetening. If you have a relationship with somebody, a family member or a friend, and you want to sweeten the relationship, or a supervisor, you want to sweeten a situation, a court case, whatever. You can use it to sour some things, whether it be one of my friends. She had, her daughter was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and she wanted to sour that relationship so that her daughter can, because her intervention with her kid wasn't working, so she used a sour jar to sour that situation so that her daughter can walk away from the negativity and the peer pressure. It's very effective. So let me show you. Before you do anything, what you have to cleanse everything you're using. Now, I'm using dragon's blood to cleanse. You can use anything. It does not have to be dragon's blood. You can use sage. You can use incense smoke. You can use frankincense. You can use whatever you want. I'm personally using dragon's blood to cleanse, and I'm using cone incense. You can, like I said, you can use anything. It's all depending on your intuition level and what your ancestors are leading you to do. So I'm going to light this cone incense. Put it in a fireproof dish. The fireproof dish I'm using is my good old trusty abalone shell that I use to burn different things in. You can use a cauldron. You can use any type of fireproof safe. Again, everything that I'm doing right now is not set in stone. It all depends on your intuition level, your comfort level, and what your ancestors lead you to do. There's no one concrete way to do things, okay? This is my my cone incense. Back up the camera a bit so you can see, okay? My cone incense, and I'm going to put my jar in it to cleanse. Everything I use, I cleanse. Because I want only my intention in what I'm doing. Only my intention. I don't want nobody else's intention in it. So I make sure I cleanse everything before I use it, okay? Now, when you're making a sour jar, like I stated, there's plenty of ways to do it. What I'm about to use is vinegar. You don't have to use vinegar. You can use bleach. You can use water with some other nasty stuff in it. It all just depends, like I say, on you. In this particular jar, I'm using vinegar. Okay, this is just regular, ordinary white vinegar. And I want this work to go pretty fast. So if I'm going to make it go fast, my secret ingredient to speeding up a spell is instant coffee. I have some instant coffee, regular old 99-cent store or Dollar Tree is one of my favorite places to get a lot of my hoodoo witchy supplies. It's the dollar store, Dollar Tree, Walmart, whatever. I'm going to use some instant coffee because I want this one to go pretty fast. Now, you want to cause confusion in a person's life? It depends on your target. Now, the herbs that I'm about to use all just depends on exactly what you want to do. For instance, if I'm making a honey jar, I'm going to use, or a sweetening spell, I'm going to use sugar, honey, sweet things, attraction type of herbs. If I'm doing this type of work, I want confusion. I want stuff to happen to this person. And I'm only doing this. I'm actually not actually doing a spell. I'm actually doing this so that you guys can see. Or am I? I am using poppy seeds. Poppy seeds brings confusion. If you want to confuse something in a person's life, poppy seeds work fabulous to do so. And you don't need much, very little. And you really want to wreak some havoc? You want to cause some shit to go wrong? You want to cause some shit to go real wrong in a person's life? Different variations of hot chili peppers work wonders. Right now, I got some red pepper flakes. And as you're doing this, I want you to remember every single thing that that person did to you. And I need your intent in the jar. That means that you focus, you have no type of other things going on, like my TV's off or muted, whatever. Your phone is silent, whatever. Nothing else is going on. You are focusing clearly on your work. You're putting all of your intent in your work. I got some red pepper flakes, and I'm going to add a little cayenne pepper. You can even cuss this jar out. Call out their names. Say it. Cuss these motherfuckers out, because in order for you to resort to this person probably deserves it. Okay? Now you got your petition paper. I'm going to light my incense out. It went out a little bit, so I'm going to relight it. It's not smoking as high as I would want it to. Okay. You get you a regular, ordinary brown paper bag. Any type of brown paper bag. If you don't have a brown paper bag, you can use parchment paper. If you don't have that, you can use notebook paper. Like I said, it really truly doesn't matter. All that matters is your intent. But I tend to keep a bunch of these around. When you're at the grocery store, you get them. Don't throw them away. Fold them up and leave them in your cabinet for when you might want to need it. Cleanse it with the incense smoke. Have your intent. Your intent. You're pissed, right? You're pissed off to the point where you want to put this person in a jar. And you write their name 3 times. On this, for the sake of this one, I'm just going to write Jane Doe. Or am I? You write it 3 times. And then you turn it counterclockwise. Okay? Counterclockwise. Anytime you're doing any work to take something away, to push something away, it's always counterclockwise. When you're trying to draw something to you, it's clockwise. And then you write on top of their name, like you wrote it 3 times, and then you cross over it on top of your name for them to, whatever your intent may be, for the sake of this spell, it's, ooh, I'm talking too much. For the sake of this spell, let's say I wanted this person to shut up about me. Let's just say, okay? So then I would put shut up or shut the fuck up. You let your intuition and your intent lead you, okay? Okay? You fold it away from you. Turn it again, counterclockwise, fold it away, and then you turn it one more time counterclockwise and fold it away. This works great if you have a picture of the person. It works great if you have some sort of personal effect of them. But if you don't have none of that, do a petition paper and stick it in the jar. Okay. For the sake of this spell, you can put as many people as you want in the jar. Okay. In this particular one, I only put one person in, but I guess I could add 2 more, maybe. Okay. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Like I say, you can put some nasty stuff in here. If you want to spit in it, if you want to add cat poo or dog poo, if you want to add disgusting, filthy, anything you let your intuition guide you, and you put it inside the jar, okay? You shake it up to add more confusion, and you put your intent in it. You sit here for as long as you need to put your intent in this jar. And when you are done, you're going to get this out of your house ASAP. My suggestion is go to the cemetery and bury it on a waning moon. It doesn't have to be a waning moon. If you need to get this out of your house ASAP, you can go bury it at the cemetery. Dig real deep and bury it. And when you bury it, you spit in the ground and you say your petition again over the hole that you dug in, and then you walk away and you don't look back. That's how you put somebody in a jar. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, or you can comment and I will respond. Thank you, and you guys have a great night. Ashe.